Our first guest is one of 11 Republican members of Congress who signed a letter to Attorney General Jeff Sessions urging him to launch criminal investigations into James Comey, Hillary Clinton, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page. I mean, the list goes on, and other members of the Obama administration. We're joined now by Arizona Representative Paul Gosar, who is a member of the House Oversight Committee. Congressman, thanks for being with us. Before we get to your criminal referral letter, I want your reaction to the news that McCabe is increasingly likely to face criminal charges, not once but 4 times for lying. If it happens that way, would that be good for the rule of law?
Absolutely, because what we've seen, Greg, is that everybody in the deep state and in the Department of Justice that were involved in this got a pass, whereas the rest of us and people like General Flynn were held to a whole different standard. So this is good that the rats are now starting to having to pay a consequence.
About 10 days ago, we got word that President Trump had been told that in the Mueller investigation, he's not a target. And now word today that in the Cohen investigation, the president is not a target there either. Does it increasingly look to you as though, A, there's no evidence of collusion, and collusion's not a crime, and B, there's probably no obstruction in exercising your constitutional authority to fire somebody?
Oh, I agree with you, Greg. I'm not an attorney, but, you know, this has been a fishing expedition from day one. I'd like to see it go forward because the real collusion was with Hillary Clinton and the Democratic side. That needs to be exposed, and that's part of the reason why we had this letter go forward is to start this process of starting to make people answer for the crimes that they've committed.
Was this, do you think, an illicit scheme to clear Hillary Clinton for purely political reasons and then to target Donald Trump for crimes that aren't even crimes?
Oh, absolutely, Greg. When you look back at Uranium One and how that all took part, go into Libya in regards to the atrocity of what she oversaw with Benghazi. This is exactly what was happening, was that they were trying to cover up. They always thought that she was going to be the next president. And then when all of a sudden something changed, the rats started scrambling, trying to cover up their tracks. And once again, they thought that they had that process down to a T, but it's the process and unraveling that process that's going to do them, each and every one of them, in.
But think about what appears to have happened here. High officials in the FBI and to some extent to the Department of Justice were trying to influence a presidential election and in the process undermining the very principle of democracy.
Oh, absolutely, Greg. This is, you know, when the American people, and they're not dumb, they've caught on, but we need to air this out in front of them because this was the most egregious attempt at our representative republic that we've ever seen. If one party can do it to another, do we really have a representative republic? Do we really listen to the people who are the true form of the government? It's not. And we saw and we're witnessing the unraveling of the weaponization of the federal government and its agencies, in this case, the DOJ and the FBI, against the American people, utilizing the FISA court system to undermine people and get to the very problem of personalities that we should never have before.
You know, Congressman, what is especially insidious about all of this is that the mainstream media was complicit in this conspiracy to go after Trump and to clear Hillary Clinton. And here you are, a member of Congress, along with other members, you send a very detailed criminal referral identifying the various criminal statutes that appear to have been violated by all of these people in the Obama administration, including Comey and Clinton. And when I opened the online version of the New York Times this morning, there was absolutely no mention of it. I mean, doesn't that speak volumes about the media?
Well, they're not the media. They're a propaganda machine for the other side. There's no impartiality anymore, Greg. I mean, the only way you can get that is listening to Fox and Breitbart and some of the others, where you're actually starting to hear some of the facts. And that's why whenever I go in my district, I talk about that openly. And the first thing out of my constituents' mouth is, how do we get these facts? Because we don't know who to trust. And so from that standpoint, it is an atrocity that the media that was supposed to be unbiased to present the facts. I mean, think about it. Would they have done this during Watergate? Where's the same type of application that happened in Watergate to today? It's horrendous. And when you see how General Flynn was just torn apart, having to sell his house, when you look at the morning raids that we actually saw the Justice Department egregiously overreach, when you use the FISA warrant, when the unmasking process, and then to see the relationship between Peter Strzok and a former vice court judge recusing himself after the point of ruling, this is unbelievable.
Well,
you wouldn't. This is banana republic type stuff.
It just demonstrates the unfettered power of the government. They can ruin you financially. They can destroy your life if they simply want to do it. Congressman Paul Gosar, thank you so much. And I compliment you on sending out that criminal referral. It was very detailed and meaningful. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Greg.